Alright, welcome back. So now we move on to something called as typecasting. As you can understand, the word casting means to mold into something, change into something. Just the same way an iron spit can change a hot iron into any shape by beating it. So I have to change a string to a float. How do I go about doing it? Notice the code before casting. So I have my string, which is equals to, in quotation, 2.314. Print in bracket type, in bracket my string, bracket close, class string, all because there is quotation. Right now, if you try to subtract 1.11 from the above number, there will be an error, because see, I don't understand anything. What is there? My string minus 1.11, like the definition is not given properly, right? This is unsupported. You cannot pass it like this. There is a structure that you have to follow. Then we have my casted float, float my screen, print type, I get a float. If you want to do arithmetical operations, right? So excuse my spelling error, it should be MA. Print my casted float minus 1.1, right? Print. So this is how you go about doing it. You cannot do it any other way. You just by giving a command, the computer will not understand, it will pass an error. And reading an error is a very important aspect of programming. Same way, you can cast a number to string. So my number is this 3.4556. So when I try to find out the class, I get this is a float. Now how do I change it into a string? So the moment I put str and in bracket I put my number, which is supposed to be 3.5.4, it becomes a string. So this is how you go about doing it. If you try to mix string and numbers while printing, adding, there will be an error. So print in quotation, my income is plus 50,000. There will be an error. I don't understand. The computer does not understand what is happening. Solution, cast all numbers to string. So what have I done? Print my income is within string plus str within bracket the number. Then the whole thing becomes a string. My income is 50,000. Casting from and to Boolean, be very careful. Boolean is true and false. Any number that is non-zero will become true and only 0 will become false. So interesting, important. My number 1 minus 3, 2 is 0, 3 is 3, and then my casted Boolean 1, 1, 2, 3. So this is how you get it. First one is true, second one is false, third one is true. My casted number from Boolean 1, int stands for integer, in bracket true. Boolean 2, int false. Now what are we trying to understand here, right? Any number that is non-zero will become true and 0 will be false. So if it is 0, it is false. If it is any other number other than 0, it is true. Now we can move on to a data type that we promised long time ago, DateTime and DateTime. Remember, we did this during the first bit of the lecture, during lecture 1. You will first have to input two modules, DateTime and time. I will show DateTime, but the lessons learned are applicable with time as well. There are two possibilities when working with DateTime object. The DateTime is a string and you want it to convert to a proper DateTime so you can do mathematical operations on it. You want to convert the mathematical DateTime object into a string so that you can print it to and store it. We will do both. Converting from DateTime object into string of choice, what we have to do is we have to import DateTime and we have to import time. Current DateTime is datetime.datetime.now. Remember this, very crucial, important, and something that will help you always. Right? Then we have print current DateTime, this is what we get. Now we are going to create an arbitrary DateTime object. Remember, you start a class by giving the following information. First argument here, second month, third day. It has to be in this manner, it's compulsory. Hour, minute, second, millisecond. right? My datetime 1, datetime dot datetime, this is how I want to give it. Okay, first the year, then the month, and then the day. Print, I get it like this. Similarly, if I want to know the type, I will get datetime dot datetime. The class is this. Now that you have a datetime object, how do you try to know what date is 673 days from now? Using time delta. So my current datetime equals to datetime dot datetime, which we know. My adjusted time will be my current time plus datetime dot time delta in bracket days equals to 673. So the change here is time delta. Right? Then we have 673 days and 10 hours from now. So all I am changing is this bit, comma, hours equals to 10. It keeps on changing itself, I don't know why. Now what if I want to change 673 days and 10 hours and 37 minutes from now? All I am doing is I am adding that minute, so on and so forth. So you can keep on doing your own permutation and combinations. It is not necessary that you go forward in time, you can go backwards too. What was 673 days and 10 hours and 37 minutes and 20 seconds and 3789 microsecond ago back in time? Now it is the minus sign. So what am I doing? It was initially here plus. You see this plus sign? Now we have the minus sign. Right? So we are going in the past. Now suppose we don't like the way the datetime is printed. We want American style where the month is printed first, followed by the date and then year. Also the time part we have to convert into AM and PM, and we don't want seconds and milliseconds. So in that case we have something as str f time. It converts the format, string format time, within quotes are special characters. Okay, now you have this website address that you can go to, and you can learn a lot from this website if you would like. Now please make sure you remember the formatting guide here thoroughly. It is very crucial that you remember this. My American time is equals to my current date time dot strf time. Then we have %b dy, then %I is to m, AM PM. So this is how you are going to get your output. Right? You can get the details about these things in here where I have mentioned the link. Now suppose I want to know the weekday and month of the year. My American time to my current date time dot strf time %a, %b, d and y. So this is what I get. I get Thursday, I get May, month, then I get the date and then the year. So please note here that there is no comma in between. So the month and the date is in one particular, it's written in one particular sequence. Now suppose our datetime is embedded in a string, we have to make a datetime object from it. This process of getting out information from a string is called parsing. Notice that parsing begins with P, so now we will take help of str P time and not F time. The first argument to str P time is the string from which you want to parse, and the second argument is the format of datetime the string is having. Note the second argument must exactly match the format in which datetime is stored. Right? So my string 1, Friday 29th May 2020, 7 p.m. So the class is this. Now since we are parsing, so converted date time, I am converting it into a different date time. So this is how I will do a parsing 2025-29, and this is the time. Now that you have the datetime object, you can do all operations you have seen above. Now something that is left is exceptions. How do we do exception? Exceptions are errors raised during the program. If you will not handle an anticipated exception, then your program will crash at the line of error and it will not move forward. If you handle the exceptions, then your program will process the error and continue. So you first try to execute the block of code where you think the error will come. This block begins with the keyword try. Immediately after it happens, start a block that catches the error and does something in case error happens. This block begins with the keyword except followed by exact Python name of the exception that you want to catch. You must know the name of the error that you are trying to handle. Let us see. Suppose we wrote a program where we have the following list 23, 45, 89, 15, 09, and we want to know what is 1 divided by this number. Right? Shall we straight away move for a loop and divide 1 by 1? Let's try. My list to divide, this is my number. For each number in my list to divide, print 1 upon each number. Now there is an error, 0 division error. It is an error where you're trying to divide a number by 0. Anything divided by 0 is a 0, right? This is mathematically impossible situation and not allowed. If you notice the fifth number in the list is 0, when we try to divide that number, our program will halt and terminate. Whatever beautiful and impactful code you wrote after that line will never be executed if you did not handle the 0 division error exception. Very, very crucial. So what do? I write this line of code and then I come to this bit. Accept 0 division error as error. Print, oh no, why on earth you're trying to divide by 0. Right? And once you do that, you are ready to deal with exception. So that's all about lecture 5. We have another lecture. So thank you.